At the beginning, I was like, wow, 2020 has been pretty low amongst them. And then the more I thought about it was, no, it actually hasn't. It hasn't been that bad. Like, we really have done quite well. And so here's a few things. It's been a polarizing year, I think is the best way to kind of say it, just in general. As you look at the landscape of the nation, the landscape of how you feel individually, the ways that you think about people within the congregation based on what they posted on Facebook, or whether they liked or didn't like something you put on Facebook, that this is one of those years where we all get kind of stuck on stupid for a little while, and we need to just press pause to that and have the realization that it is polarizing and there's a way through. For the first group in here, and this is kind of myself in this first group, that when you approach struggles and angst, obstacles, anxiety, the COVID craziness, dead ends, now what's, how comes, they rise up. They don't give in. That these become opportunities to learn, opportunities to adapt and grow, that from this first group, that obstacles are equal in opportunity, that these opportunities to grow come at learning how to do the soundboard better, because everybody's at home listening going, ooh, that sounds bad. And learning how to do the slides better, and learning how to communicate through a little circle in the back of the room, learning how to figure out how we're going to get a community to come behind a group of people following Jesus through a little water bottle stuffed with masks and goodies, learning to find a way of how do you do VBS in the midst of a world that doesn't want to go inside of a building and 99.9% of the other churches have canceled, learning how to take all of those things as opportunities and say, we can do it. We will find a way. It will make us better. That in this, we begin to see new ways to do technology, new ways to give back to the community, new ways to teach, new ways to begin to see how much more we can truly give as people that follow Jesus. And what we've learned is that we will stretch really, really far, but we have not broken. We as a church, the staff, the leadership, the volunteers, the parents, the youth, the kids, even the infrequent attenders have all been stretched in ways that many of us never ever thought possible, in ways that many never thought that they would have to. And yet here we are, better than last December in so many ways, because we saw obstacles that the world would readily say are insurmountable. And yet some said, with God we can make it through. And God said, would you like to see my footstool? Read through the Psalms. The earth is the Lord's. It's his footstool, that nothing is too big. Now, to those of you in this first group, thank you. Many of you in this room, you've seen a number of them stand up and talk. You've been a part of making masks. You've been a part of tearing out carpet. You've been a part of tearing down walls. You've been a part of all the endless meetings as leadership. All of you that were the ones that got up, got your family ready, and actively participated. The reason that we give things away is to lure people into community. Literally. Because what we've done as a community is many live in the place of passive consumers that, well, I'm not going to go to church. I'll just watch it later, like everything else in my life. And so we've had to lure you with Pizza Ranch, with scooters, with Breadsmith, with whatever it is. And you know what? I'm not above any of those things. And we as staff are not above any of those things, because whatever gets you to hear the message, we are totally on board, because that is the struggle. But to those of you that have jumped in that struggle and embraced this opportunity, thank you. While many churches in the area have merely survived, I think we've thrived in many ways. And we've even offered a beacon of respite for those that have been struggling through. And for all of you that looked into the long darkness of 2020 and said a resolute, I'm in, thank you. Seriously. But for those that have looked into the long, daunting darkness of 2020 and all you saw was struggle and angst and obstacle, anxiety, COVID that never ends, dead ends, now once and how comes, and you saw very little opportunity, and you rather embraced the insurmountable, much like the prophets of old, I have 2 words for you. Now, they're not 2 literal words, but 2 things that I will say. First is don't. Don't give in to that. Don't give in to the comfort of your couch, your chair, your bar, your table, your tablet, or your telephone. It can be a slow and ever seductive lure to the belief that online is fine and artificial interactions are just as good as in-person interactions. But with the utmost seriousness, comfort is a slow and alluring journey towards convenience. And convenience is like a warm blanket and a drink by the fireplace in your life as you sit on the couch that will eventually lull you into a bit of docile sleepiness in a place that we all know is really, really hard to get up from. You can ask my wife at 10:15 at night after I've already been asleep for about 45 minutes, and she's like, "Get up, it's time to go to bed." And I respond with, because nothing really functions after a while. See, given enough time, this subtle and almost imperceivable journey of comfort breaks way to convenience, and eventually, without even noticing how far you've come, complacency takes its root. And at this point, when complacency has taken its root, almost every decision that we make is weighed against our entrenchment in that complacency. Do you call or do you text? Do you drive through or go inside? Do you actually send a message to your friend, or is a Facebook message okay? Do you make your bed or just leave it? Not going anywhere anyway. Sometimes we even replace words with just emojis because we don't have the ability to just say something. See, every day we are presented with thousands of choices, and each one points us towards a path that has resistance and struggle, but a path that is ripe with growth and fruition, or a path that always goes back to the comfy couch that will always call to us like the precious to Gollum. What comfort, convenience, and complacency won't tell you is the longer you spend time there, the harder it is to break free. It's a tender grip, but it doesn't let go easy. Much like C.S. Lewis in his book, The Great Divorce, the reality of heaven is so real that those that get off the bus, it hurts the pads of their feet to walk on the grass. It feels like knife blades into their soft feet. So, many turn back. Many of us turn back from what is truly real to embrace and comfort a false reality, a facade. We rarely acknowledged is the tender embrace of complacency ultimately results in far more pain, far more anxiety, more angst, more struggle, more whys and how comes, like the bed of a quadriplegic, eventually becomes the source of a whole new pain and a whole new struggle that they had never imagined. While many of us will never struggle with bed sores, but any complacency's tender embrace, we will have to face the emotional, social, spiritual, and even physical pain of choosing something more. Like a person choosing to hit the gym and get their self healthy, the first days and even weeks hurt. And they hurt in places that you never thought imaginable. So I will say it again, don't. Don't choose comfort over opportunities. Don't choose convenience over interaction. Don't choose complacency over pain of growth. But do choose. Choose something more. Second word, choose hope. Choose to see past the hills of Psalm 121 and look to the Lord in his physical presence, the church, the people that have been here year after year and the ones that watch online and long to come back. The choice to push past the pain of hope versus comfort is at times an arduous one, and many times not a choice that anyone really enjoys or wants to. But over time, the outcome is life, real interactions, real smiles, real tears, real grins, real frowns, real conversation, real. And as you experience the real embrace of hope, you, by your presence, liberate other people around you to experience the real power that hope can bring. Hope in the face of darkness. Hope in the face of struggle, hope in the face of angst, hope in the face of obstacles, hope in the face of anxiety, hope amidst COVID, hope in the face of dead ends, hope when what's and hows seem to pop up. True hope. And yes, all of it. Every single choice has risk. And some are more willing to risk than others. But for all of us, can we risk together to see what God can do in 2021? If you have questions, feel free to call, text, email. I won't answer any of them, but if you'd like to have a face-to-face conversation, let's do it.